Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show. The show where, just like you, we can't get enough sports.
The 47-year wait is over! And the Nuggets win it! Wilson throws up for grabs and is caught for the touchdown! And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50. And the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions! And a shot into the back of the net for Diego Rubio!
Now here's your hosts, Arthur Knight and Larry Perkins.
1-0 Rapids. They are champions.
Yo, yo, yo. What's good in the hood? Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show. I am Arthur Knight, and I am coming to you live from So High Cafe at 4300 West Alameda here in Denver, Colorado. Come on by, get you some Viper Pit barbecue, get you a pre-order, call Vinny up. Make sure you follow him on IG and all social media. Make sure you follow us on all social media and like and subscribe on YouTube. We are also being brought to you by INV Vision. INV Vision brings comprehensive eye exam and medically focused eye exams to Aurora, Colorado. We are from the community for the community. You can call them up at 720-762-4290. That's 720-762-4290, or hit them up on invvision.com. They are at 700 South Buckley Road, Unit K in Aurora, Colorado, 817. Go on by, book now. INV, we see you. Okay, so bottom line, let's just jump right into it, man. The Denver Nuggets are in another Game 7. This is their third in their last three playoff series. Is anybody as nervous as I am right now? I mean, I love this Denver Nuggets team, and I have loved this Denver Nuggets team my entire life, my guys. But they're trying to kill me, man. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me with all of these Game 7s, and I hope they just come in and put OKC out of their misery. You know what I'm saying? Just go in there and control the entire game all the way until the last whistle, man. Just prove it. Prove it. You know what I'm saying? Bad news. We hear AG may not go tonight, or even if he is, it's going to be a limited capacity. I would say if you are going to play him, it should be coming off of the bench, and you should limit his minutes and only utilize him for very little bit of offense and mainly defense, you know, just to go out there for those SGA minutes when SGA and not Hartenstein, but what's that other cat's name? I can't think of his name right now. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about. For those minutes when they're out there with their bench role players and those non-Jokic minutes, etc., I think that that's the only time you kind of really need to utilize him. There's been this debate on whether you start Westbrook or you start P-Watt in that dunker spot. I'm leaning more towards P-Watt and keep Westbrook on the bench. You know, let him come off the bench. But then again, every time I think about it, okay, I'm like back and forth. I'm just like, but what if starting Westbrook is that spark? What if putting him on the starting lineup gives him that oomph that he needs, that they're confident in him so much that he has a 25, 30-point game with 10 assists and, 12 rebounds or something crazy Westbrooky, for lack of a better term, okay? I mean, I'm just like, I'm really caught, but like P-Watt being in that role, both kind of dull your offensive production if you really think about it. But the chance that Westbrook goes off for 25 or even 15 to 20 points is way more likely. That's a higher percentage chance that happens than P-Watt goes off for 25, 30 points. That's just a way higher percentage chance that a Hall of Famer that's done it before can do it. And really, they don't even need him to score that many points. I think they only need him to score about 15, but get 10 rebounds, 5 or 7 of those being on the offensive side of the board or on the offensive side of the court. And he needs about 10 to 12 assists or so, or vice versa, whatever you want to do. I think that those two combinations with him being in the starting lineup, the Nuggets win this game. Okay. But if he doesn't, if you insert him into the lineup and he's missing layups and he's, moving without the ball, and I don't mean in the good way like Steph Curry does, like where he's going off the screens. I mean where he goes to dribble and he takes about 3 steps and the ball is behind him. Nobody's touched the ball. He just left without the ball. You all know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me funny. Don't look at me funny. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be, as long as he doesn't do any of those things, it's going to be fine. But with P-Watt in the offensive, or excuse me, in the starting lineup to take AG's spot and have AG come off the bench, right? That gives you just a good, maybe even slightly better defense. I mean, that's arguable. But P-Watt has a very good defensive prowess, okay? Let's just say you may not get better, but at least the drop-off in the defense is not going to be too significant. But the offensive production will be significant. That is going to be a severe drop-off from what AG does and can provide. Even though he hasn't played well in the past 3 games, he's probably been hurt with that hamstring this entire time, and it just came to fruition. You know what I mean? Like, he's just been playing heavy minutes. He's not a spring chicken. You know what I mean? Like, love the guy to death. That is my guy. AG is my guy, man. But I think it's just like the chickens have come home to roost. He's been probably playing on a bad hammy the past 3 games, and in the last game, it just, kind of, the hamstring was like, yeah, we're done here. But if he has enough, if he can go tonight, and this is gamesmanship, as some have been saying for about not Rick Adelman, excuse me, David Adelman, my bad, coach. If this is gamesmanship and he does go tonight and he's absolutely fine and has like this spectacular game, that's going to be hilarious, first of all. But then that's going to be the best gamesmanship in history of the NBA, to outthink the other coach on the other side, because you know definitively OKC's head coach and coaching staff, right? They are going to have to game plan for him not being out there, or him not being 100%, or him being out there. Like, they're going to have to create all of these scenarios. So if Adelman has done this crazy gamesmanship that everybody seems to be thinking that he might be doing, it'll be like the greatest chess move I've ever seen in basketball history, or at least that I've seen, not maybe in basketball history, but I've ever seen, because that would be crazy, because it is he's creating work for the opposing team's coaching staff that may or may not even be needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's I don't know. Maybe Adelman is a genius. Maybe he is a genius, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I tip my hat to Coach if they pull it off. If they pull it off, like I said, I feel like it's going to be the greatest chess move or out coaching ever. And at that point, even if the Nuggets lose in the next round, and I know I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, but that's okay. I'm built for it. Even if the Nuggets lose in the next round of Minnesota and Minnesota goes on, I still think David Adelman has won at least a shot at being the head coach for the Denver Nuggets come next season and going forward. I know there's been a lot of names thrown out there, Chauncey Billups, et cetera, and it's going to be the decision of the GM coming in unless Kroenke decides to absorb that position, because it kind of seems like he did for the remainder of this season, even though there's no moves to be made, because you can't trade, can't sign, can't, release, whatever. But he has basically, to me, assumed that role or absorb that role into his role as an owner. It's going to be either his decision or it's going to be the new GM, and we don't even know who the new GM is going to be, right? Excuse me. So, I think though that Adelman, I could probably even make an argument that even if they don't win tonight, Adelman has made a good campaign or an argument for being the head coach for the Denver Nuggets. And it speaks volumes to also the coaching staff of the Denver Nuggets. Like, everybody's giving all these kudos to the players for rallying, and they deservingly. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away. Don't get me wrong. But this coaching staff lost their boss, their chief. And whether some of them are happy about that or not, whether they were not happy under, Coach Malone, or they were extremely happy under Coach Malone, it doesn't matter. What does matter is now that man is gone, they have all come together under Adelman, and this team has held themselves together. It's not just the players. The coaches had to hold this together as well. So kudos to them all. And now I'm done giving all the kudos and the smacks on the butt that I need to give. Let's get into Game 7. How did the Denver Nuggets beat OKC tonight, especially if they don't have AG? Defense. Defense is going to create the type of basketball that the Denver Nuggets are very good at. It's not necessarily their bread and butter, you know what I'm saying, like it used to be, because the fast break offense was the bread and butter of Denver Nuggets. Doug Moe, every coach since, even George Karl ran it. You got to play defense and run the fast break. You got the Denver Nuggets aren't necessarily that anymore. They're not necessarily the fast break team anymore, but they're still very good at the fast break, and they're not playing in Denver, so the altitude is not going to help them in OKC when they play this game this afternoon in about, say, 15, 20 minutes. But this team plays a half court very, very well. It's just that OKC plays a defensive style that matches or mirrors what the Denver Nuggets want to do offensively. And they have, two towers that they're playing. They haven't played them like this all season. I mean, in spurts, if you've watched a couple of games, which I have, I've watched OKC just to, see. I mean, they're in our division, they're in our conference. So just knowing how they were gonna play or how they've been playing, I watch them. But they rarely ever played both Hartenstein and that other cat, and I don't know why I keep struggling on my guy's name, because I actually like him as a player, Holmgren. I like him as a player, but anyway, so they haven't been playing Hartenstein and Holmgren together the way they've been playing them in this series, okay? The Nuggets have beat Twin Tower type teams before. but they've also been beaten by Twin Tower teams before. I do think the Denver Nuggets can win this game if they can just play solid 4 quarters of defense. They could also beat Minnesota in the same fashion if they commit to the defensive side of the ball. That's going to open up their offense so much against this type of team, especially a grabby, don't allow you freedom of movement type of defense like the Oklahoma City. They like to smother you, man. It reminds me of how like the New York Knicks back in the 90s used to play defense. There's also, like a couple of other teams that I can name that play that style of defense to where it's like, we're not going to let you just run through the paint. There's a couple of teams that play that way in the league right now. Minnesota's kind of that way. They're a lot more aggressive than OKC. OKC's a lot more disciplined. And they're going to be really, really good for years to come. They're basically showing that Caruso trade was the best trade they could possibly get, even though he's on his way out, because he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's not on his way out, but you know what I mean. Like, he's just not young. He's the uncle. They call him Unk on their squad. But he's the oldest player at 31. So he's not young, but he ain't old either. But that trade gave them a pedigree off the bench of a championship pedigree, because he has been there before, even though he was not a key component of that team. He was on that team, and he saw what it took saw what it takes to get to the mountaintop. So having that as opposed to a Josh Giddey with no experience and all of them getting experience at the same time, they created sort of a championship pedigree, especially coming off their bench. That's how they've been able to win 3 games in this series. But even with all of that said, the Nuggets have the best clutch defense, and the Nuggets can play just as good a defense and on-ball defense. They proved it in Game 6. Even Jamal Murray was getting steals and manning up, guarding SGA. Nobody seemed scared of the moment. Nobody seemed afraid of any of the players. They were having Jay Will was just tossing up threes. Really they were prayers. And all the Denver Nuggets have to do is play that type of defense, smother them. All they have to do, I don't like Caruso neither, Mark. I feel you. Mark's in the chat here. He's saying F Caruso, and I feel you on that. I feel you. But you got to give flowers when flowers is due, and he did create extra. He gives them that extra. He's their Brucey B. You know what I mean? Like, he's that pest. That's going to get just enough under your skin, or he's that guy that you hate him when he's on the other team and you love him when he plays for your team, right? Because that's how we felt about Russell Westbrook. Don't even, everybody in Denver, don't even try to tell me that you loved Russell Westbrook before he was in a Denver Nuggets uniform, because I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. And you can, I would have to put you in a lie detector test in order to prove my point. Because there's no way that as a Denver Nugget you loved Russell Westbrook when he played for every team that we hate. Like, he played for every single team that we hate as Denver Nuggets fans: Oklahoma City, LA Lakers, LA Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only time we didn't hate him was when he played for the Washington Wizards, because who gives a damn, right? He played for the Wizards. Woo. You know what I'm saying? But when he played for the other teams that the Denver Nuggets have to play, night in or year in and year out, I should say, we couldn't stand Russell Westbrook. I mean, he was a triple-double king. Like, get the out of here. Like, Don't tell me that you loved him, you respected him, just like I'm giving love to Caruso, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm not giving love, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just showing that respect. Like, he did solidify their bench in order for them to get 68 wins this season. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give credit where credit's due is what I'm trying to do. No love, though. No love. Game 7, let me take that love back. But the Nuggets, if they can play solid defense, get some steals like Jokic was getting in, the first game and the second game, like that type of defense that they played at the end of the first game in game 1, if they can play that for 4 quarters, the defense that they played in game 6, if they can do that for 4 quarters, the Denver Nuggets are going to move on to the Western Conference Finals, man. And that's just what it is. If they don't play defense, if they just allow SGA to move freely or just get, do whatever the hell he wants to do, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night, and we're going to be very disappointed. Now, I do like, and I've been meaning to comment on this. I meant to say this last week. I do like the defense that Adelman and the Denver Nuggets coaching staff has implemented. Like, you really can't tell if it's a 1-3-1 or if it's a 2-3 or a 3-2. Like, it's weird. It's almost like hockey. Like, anybody who's ever watched hockey, like, it's almost like a defensive scheme for a hockey team. Like, especially back in the day when the Dallas Stars used to do it to the Avalanche. I think they implemented it this year in the playoffs as well. It's like a trap defense in hockey. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, call me crazy. I don't care what you call me. Like I said, I'm built for it. But that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a hockey trap defense. So I like it, though. It does give the Nuggets a lot of rest. The only issue is that if OKC can figure out how to attack it, which a couple of times you've seen them do it, J. Will or SGA or Hartenstein or Holmgren will get into the center of the paint, and you know what I'm saying, they'll get in that key, the center of the key, and that's how you kind of bust a zone, is get it into the center of the defense, and then everything has to collapse on that. Now you have either open shooters, or if everybody jumps out to the shooters or you kick it back out, everybody jumps back out. Well, now you have another attack at the basket. So, or you can just attack the basket from the center position as the Nuggets do all the time. So I do like that defense, and I think that they need to continue with that defense. And I think they need to implement it immediately. Like, immediately. Get right into stifling them, getting them frustrated, having, SGA do his flopping techniques. See if you can get them frustrated and rattled early. Vinny's over here showing me exactly how it's done. I wish I had a camera to flip on him.
Flopping around like a soccer player.
Man, fish don't flop as much as he does inside a boat, man. I mean, but you know what? With that said,
I did say freaking.
With that said, I'm gonna have to give it. I'm gonna have to give it to Joker too, because when I was watching the game the other day, and Vinny could probably, if he remembers, he can attest to this and he can confirm this. I was saying, like, Jokic, stop it, stop trying to. He was trying to get fouls, and I could see it, especially on the offensive side when he tries to go over somebody's arm and swipe down.
Yeah.
It is a foul, and he's trying to contrast it, and I get it, I understand, but I'm just like, bro, play the game. And as soon as he did, what happened? The Nuggets win the game. Like, it's just like, come on, man. I don't want anybody flopping. I don't want to see any of that crap. Let's just play not let's just, because I don't play, but just play the game, man. Play the game for the purity of the sport. We don't need any of the flopping from either of the two greatest stars in the NBA, or two of the greatest stars in the NBA right now, the two top MVP candidates should not be out there flopping and doing all kinds of stuff trying to get all of the calls. Now, granted, SGA gets those calls all the time. Jokic doesn't. And everybody will point to, oh, well, Jokic does 14 free throws and, this, that, and the third. He's averaging this. The Nuggets are averaging more free throws than any other team. And it's like, but where are they getting those free throws? Where are they getting those free throws? Are they getting those on shooting fouls? Or are they getting those free throws after they have to get 5 on the floor fouls or common fouls, as they call them, on the floor, non-shooting fouls? They have to get 5 of those before they start shooting free throws, and then they're just getting those all the time and getting those more than anything, and then coupled with a few shooting fouls. Because Jokic should probably be averaging, if they were really calling the fouls evenly, and not because it's Nikola Jokic and he's a tank, if they were really calling fouls the way SGA gets fouls for Jokic would be averaging about 20, 25 free throws a game, which means he'd be getting anywhere from about, what is that, 17 to 21 points extra a game. He's already averaging 29 point something. SGA was averaging, 32, almost 33, give or take. So, add that up. Just saying, man. Let's just be real about this. SGA is great, and he's going to be a great player, and Oklahoma City is going to be a tough team to beat for years to come. If they are able to keep their core, especially, obviously the two you don't move is Holmgren and SGA. Those are their two key pieces. Jay Will, obviously, you know what I'm saying? He's an all-star as well. So if you can keep those 3 players on this team, they're going to be tough. But they're also going to be in the same position in the next 2 or 3 years that the Denver Nuggets were in the past 2 or 3 years. That Minnesota is in the past year, this year, and next year, meaning that they have a lot of talent on their team, but the apron system that the collective bargaining agreement has them under is going to hamper most of that. They're not going to be able to keep all of them players. All of these players that they have, J-Dub that comes off of the bench, all of these players that they have, even Caruso, they're not going to be able to keep all of these players for a long time, not all 10. Because I remember back when the Denver Nuggets were just starting to creep into the playoffs, right? They were just starting to creep into the playoffs. Everyone was talking about how deep the Denver Nuggets were. Look how deep the Denver Nuggets were. Vinny trying to make me feel better. What's up, fellas? Chuck pick OKC. Shaq told him they had to win in Game 6. Shaq looked.
Maybe we could get these guys as sponsors even.
Hey! As long as they don't sue us.
No, I mean CarMax and.
But I do remember. I mean, speaking of Chuck and Shaq, man, they had an interchange that I was watching, or an exchange of words, and Shaq. This is before Game 6. And Shaq was saying, you better win Game 6, meaning if you don't win Game 6, the Nuggets are going to beat you in Game 7. Now, I don't know if the Nuggets are going to definitively win tonight. I feel like they are, and that's my prediction, is they are going to win this game tonight, probably by less than 7 points. But I think they are going to win this afternoon or this evening, whatever you want to call it. But the round mound of rebound, Mr. Charles Barkley, was stating that, no, you still have Game 7. They ain't got to win Game 6. And in all honesty, they're both right.
They were going at it the other day.
But here's the difference, Vinny. Here's the difference. Who out of those two have actually won a ring? And I'm not trying to be cruel at Chuck. I'm really not. But I'm just saying, like, the one person that has won championships and been in that position, he's also lost in the playoffs, right?
The guy on the left.
Mr. Shaquille O'Neal knows that it could be very, very, very.
It don't matter till the last 4 minutes, man.
You keep saying that, but it's really the last 2 minutes.
Same thing with hockey too, man.
It's really the last. Oh Jesus! It's really the last 2 minutes that that really, really matter, especially in a game 7 in a basketball game, man. If it's under 10 points or even under 15 these days because of how many 3-point shots that are shot and made, if it's under 15, man, that last 2 minutes could last a decade, it feels like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can make it all the way home in a timeout.
For real. There's been times where, in the last 2 minutes I've left this facility and I live about 35 minutes away and the game is still being played when I'm walking in my front door. 2 minutes left when I leave here. So that has actually happened.
You see our timer?
I see the timer. I got 1 minute left, ladies and gentlemen, before this.
No, it says 10:40, and we've gone for 31. So you make the call, bro.
Well, I don't see the game started, so I'm gonna go until the game starts.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
Sure, I'm gonna do some running around. I'll be back for that.
That's what's up.
There's a countdown to tip off. You see it?
I cannot actually see that clock. But you know what I can do? I think I can get it.
Oh, it's like right there, huh?
Yeah, it's. There we go. Okay, I see it. We got 10 minutes till kickoff. Just don't drop the TV, my guy. There we go. All right, so now I have a clock. All right, so I thought it was 1:30 was tip-off. They always lie to us.
If you want to come down to the show, we got mac and cheese.
We do.
Brisket,
Yeah, there you go. Shameless plug. I love it, Vinny.
Let's go.
4300 West Alameda. Come on by. So High Cafe. You don't even need to call ahead. I already saw him take some smoke wings off the smoker. He already said he's got mac and cheese. I'm gonna be greasing on some burnt ends. Make sure you come on down. Say what's up. Tell him the Sportz Phenz sent you. See if you can get that 10% discount. Actually, no, you can get that 10% discount. He's a generous man. Just tell him that we sent you. All right, so how did the Denver Nuggets truly beat Oklahoma City? Like I said, it's going to be defense, but you are also going to need some sort of offensive production other than Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, okay? You're going to get Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. You're going to get those. You're going to get that. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm distracted right now because the one person from ESPN that I love when she is commentating or being the color analyst for ESPN is Doris Burke, man. And she is doing the game tonight, and I'm uber excited. I was upset about who the referee is tonight. I'm not even going to say his name. They kind of drew the short straw on that one, but I do think the Nuggets can overcome all of that. We've seen it, man. We've seen this team. What's the one thing that is the consistent, the two that are consistent in this Denver Nuggets team being so resilient is Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, man. Everybody else has changed around them completely for the most part. But if you can get another 10 points out of MPJ and a good defensive effort from him, because he was getting a whole bunch of boards too in that game, in game 6. If you can still get, that out of him, and it looks like Mr. AG will be playing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you guys are all watching right now, so it looks like he will be playing. Whether he is starting, they have not announced the starters unless they have, because Vinny just turned the game on and around so I can see it. But now they're showing the when he injured himself. Don't know why they're showing that, but I don't know. He looks okay. Will he start tonight? How many minutes is he going to play? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. He doesn't look like he's in any pain. Doesn't look like he's wincing or walking around with a limp. Seemed to be warming up like he normally does. So let's see if he starts. Let's see if he, plays limited minutes from the start, or if he continues to play 40 minutes on a bad hammy. I think I hate to say it, but I do think we're about to see who the MVP truly is tonight. Will Jokic rise above and become, not become, he is an MVP. Will he show that he was the rightful MVP? Will he do the same thing that he did 2 years ago when, they stole the MVP from him that year? Because honestly, this should be going on his fourth or fifth or something to that effect. In all honesty, when they did give it to Joel Embiid, the Nuggets, I think he took it personal. He probably had besides this year, he probably had his best playoff run that year. This year, it looks like he's writing his, his Picasso, he does seem like he's painting a beautiful picture. All he needs is for, the rest of the team to just cooperate. The number is staggering on how many passes he's made to particular players, even Murray for that matter. And they haven't made shots, if they had made even 10 to 15% more of them shots for him, he would not only be doubling or triple doubling this entire series, but this series would have been over in 4 to 5 games. But here we are. They weren't hitting shots. They seem to be winning and hitting shots in key times, though. Game 1, key timely shot. Every game they've won except for Game 6 when they did win in a convincing manner, not in overtime, not a game-winning shot. Even though that overtime game was very convincing, because as soon as they got into that overtime game, they basically just took over the game. They didn't allow OKC to do anything. They didn't allow them to do anything in that overtime period. They scored, I think, if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this because I'm not looking directly at it, but I think they only scored about 4 or 5 points in that overtime, while the Nuggets scored, significantly more to win that game. The Nuggets can do it again. I don't see this game going into overtime. If the Nuggets play like they did in Game 6, okay, if they play like they did in Game 6, they're going to win again by double digits. But they're going to have to play defense all 4 quarters. They're going to have to get OKC back on their heels, put the pressure on them like they're at home, quiet that crowd early. Quiet that crowd early. Go right after them. Go right into that what I'm going to call their trap defense. Right off the bat. Smother them. Take all confidence and insert all doubt. And once you get your foot on their neck, push down. That's basically what Shaq was implying when he said to Chuck, they better win Game 6. That's what he meant. You have the OKC Thunder had their foot on the Denver Nuggets' neck. They did. That's what he was talking about. And Chuck's like, nah, you ain't got to worry. That's why Chuck doesn't have a ring. And I'm not trying to be mean, Chuck. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. But that's why you don't have a ring, bruh. You didn't have that killer instinct. Chuck is like, nah, F that, dog. Kill him tonight. I want him dead. He's like Al Capone. He's like Al Capone in Untouchables. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want to go over there to his house in the middle of the night. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to piss on the ashes. You know what I'm saying? That's Shaq's mentality. That's that MJ mentality. That's that Kobe mentality. That's even maybe not LeBron. I don't know. LeBron the jury's out on his killer instinct. I think sometimes he has it, but other times it's just like, no. But anyways, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But the bottom line is that that's exactly what Shaq meant when he said, you better beat them in game 6. Because if you give another team life, they gave the Denver Nuggets life by allowing them to beat them the way they did in game 6. It wasn't just that the Nuggets were at home. They had they had another terrible ref in that game. They were able to overcome that. They're able to overcome these things. And a team that has been there before and has that killer instinct, which the Nuggets have, they finally have developed. It took them long enough, but they finally have developed that killer instinct as a team. And that's what Shaq was meaning when he said, you better beat them in game 6. And that's why Shaq was like, okay. When Chuck was like, no, you still have game 7 at home. And that mentality, man, nah, you don't want to take this to 7 games and have Minnesota City. The Nuggets didn't really either, but the Nuggets haven't been playing that well in this series, okay? They've been playing well in spurts. The fact that they haven't been playing that well should probably piss off the Thunder that they haven't been able to put them away. It took them 7 games to beat this team because the Nuggets just won't go away. They're not just going to go away. And yeah, Chuck has 0 killer instincts. That's mad facts. That's facts. He wouldn't even have a gold medal if it wasn't for MJ and every other great that played on that team. And I'm not trying to diminish anything from Charles Barkley. I never played in an NBA game. I'm not trying to, cut him down or nothing like that like Shaq does, because I don't have the rings to be like, look at my rings.
I've been to one.
Like Shaq has, how many rings do you have, Chuck? It's a pretty good Shaq impression if I do say so myself. Anyway, but it looks like we are about to tip off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go Nuggets. Don't forget to stop on by. You can still come by, get you some barbecue, come by halftime, whatever you want to do. 4300 West Alameda, or you can always hit up Vinny any day of the week and get you some pre-order. You just need to call him at 303-807-0151 and tell him that Arthur the Sports Phenz sent you. I will see you next week at the same time, unless there is another Nuggets game this time next week. We'll keep doing specials to where I do a pregame. So keep tuned. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. I will holler at y'all next week. Deuces. Ton of shit going on too. So does Vinny.